Sunday, a day synonymous with rebirth, day of the sun, enlightenment, and exposure. I didn't know I could fall so in love with a sport that's all about its restarts and unknowns. It sets the pace for just about every single Sunday until November. Today is Sunday, February 16th, 2020. It's the first NASCAR race of the season and its biggest event, the Daytona 500. And it's the first official IGTV episode of Superfan. Daytona. Hi everyone, welcome to Superfan. My name is Crystal, and today we're gonna cover Daytona. So this past weekend, we had Speed Weeks and the Daytona 500, the kickoff to NASCAR's 2020 season. I'm gonna go over a quick recap, try to share all the great things that I saw. If you have anything to add to it, please leave it in the comments, or if you have any questions for me, I'll take those as well. But first, for everybody that doesn't know me very well, and maybe a little bit for the people that do, I will answer a quick question for you because, well, a lot of the times people ask me why NASCAR whenever I start talking about my love for the sport and the fact that I am this huge super fan of NASCAR. So let's go ahead and give that a watch real quick, and then I'll get back to the recap of this past weekend and what to look forward to for this weekend in Vegas. This is where I was born and raised, Los Angeles, California. Known for laid-back attitudes, beaches, celebrities, X Games, and then moved to Pasadena, home of the Rose Bowl. I was in high school band, orchestra, and theater, and then moved to Texas for college. But I fell in love with racing, supercross and motocross. I earned my degree in communications, moved to Vegas, worked as a retail manager, and then quit to be a waitress. Then, about 2 years ago, I found NASCAR. Why NASCAR? People ask me all the time. And honestly, it's because I love racing. You didn't hear me the first time? Once you meet the people that make NASCAR the event it is, you realize how kind, appreciative, and accepting they actually are. When you learn how great of an investment and commitment it takes from the teams, drivers, and everyone else involved, it inspires you to be part of it. My question was, where can my skills be useful? And that's where my journey began last year. I learned everything I could, reached out to explore my options, and now I've made it my goal to be a pit reporter. So this is my first time doing this, so I have an abundance of note cards. If anything seems awkward, it's probably because I'm reading that off and starting a new thought. But let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. Let's get this show on the road, right? Okay, so for the Daytona recap, quick rundown for anybody that's missed this past weekend's Speed Weeks leading up into the great American race, the Daytona 500. Speed Weeks got under the way with some history being made by the ladies. If you look up who won the ARCA Daytona race, you're bound to see this. All right, I don't know if you caught that, but Hailie Deegan actually didn't come in first, so I want to make sure that everybody is clear on that. Before I move on, I should probably mention a little bit more about Michael Self, our winner for the ARCA Menard Series. Michael Self took home the first trophy of Speed Weeks, edging Hailie Deegan for his 8th victory in the ARCA Menard Series. However, Hailie Deegan was making history because she actually got the highest finish for Daytona for females in the ARCA series. We're really proud of her. Everybody's eyes have been on this 18-year-old rising star for quite some time, and especially since she made the switch from Toyota Racing Development over to the number 4 Ford Focus for DGR Crossley. For those of you that don't know who Hailie Deegan is, she is the daughter of Brian Deegan. They are from Temecula, California. Whoop, whoop. California. Sorry, I'm a West Coast girl myself. Her father is Brian Deegan of motocross freestyle, X Games, and rally. He also is one of the founding CEOs of Metal Militia, who designed and created this hat, and he also signed it. So, of course, I am Team Deegan all the way. Now, since the ladies are making headlines, I cannot fail to mention Natalie Decker in the number 44 Chevrolet Silverado for Nice Motorsports in the National Gander and RV National Gander and RV Outdoor Truck Series. I think I got it right that time. Has also made headlines with a top 5 finish in the truck series. The top 5 finish for Natalie Decker came in 5th place. We're really proud of her. This is a win for her. Now, I have been telling everybody about how great truck series racing is. Last season, I attended the truck races for both Phoenix and here for the playoffs, and I mean, these trucks were going 5 wide. Of course, there were a bunch of mechanical and engine failures, but it was overall a very exciting race. And if you are up close, please, please, please protect your ears, because it is some of the loudest racing you will ever be around. I love it, hands down. I can't wait to go this week. If you want some really good racing, I suggest starting with the truck series. For Daytona, Grant Enfinger took the checkered flag with a 1/100th of a second margin of victory. I don't even, do you know how quick that is? It had a 3-wide finish. How can that not be exciting? Unfortunately, there are some people that did not finish the race. We witnessed Ty Majeski's truck flip over. Emergency crews flipped him back over, got him out. We got a thumbs up from them. He left the infield medical center with not even a scratch that I'm aware of. He is excited to come to Vegas and try again. Oh my God. Of course, Daytona always brings with it some highs and some lows, so once you hit those lows, you always have some highs right after. So to close out the peak event of Friday night, Jordan Anderson. I have never seen somebody so excited, well, except for maybe Haley Deegan, but I've never seen somebody so excited to take second place. It's almost as if he won. The work that goes into being able to even race at Daytona is noteworthy, but go ahead and check out what he had to say in his post-race interview. It's one of my favorites.
The story tonight. Tell me about that final lap, the final corner. There's not too many opportunities. I'm getting to see the replay here for the first time that you get to go for your win. Hey, Grant, what you doing door slamming me, man? I'm almost speechless for words. I came here 2015 and emptied my bank account to try to come down here and run, and to be in a position to even go for a win at Daytona, man. I'm a kid that just wanted to go racing from South Carolina. You know me, man. I'm usually not speechless, but God is good. You look at our race team and the opportunities that we've had, and it's just because people have come in and believed in what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and God's put the right people in our path. And all you guys that follow me, man, on Facebook and Twitter, you guys, all you guys in America, it's Truck Night in America, they keep me going, man. It's the journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Embrace the journey, and I thought I set them up good, I thought we had it, but this is. To try to put into words what this means for our team, I had to move some money around this winter just to get through to buy this truck, and we knew that we needed to bring the best truck we could, and this sport isn't easy, and I love NASCAR. I love this sport. This is what NASCAR is about. Daytona, we almost won! You've earned it, buddy. Let's go to victory lane.
Way to go to everybody that participated in both the ARCA Menard series and the truck series. I know it takes a lot of investment and commitment to get to that place, and whether you finish or not, that you get a huge thumbs up from me. In the press booth this weekend, starting with Joey Logano, he had his little rookie stripe on the back with Jamie Little to cover the trucks. I think it was actually very informative, and it's nice to have that a diversity of drivers speaking on what's going on the track, because not every single driver is thinking the exact same thing. They all come from different backgrounds. Some of them have engineering backgrounds, college educated, or they've just grown up in racing and know it very, very well. So it's nice to have that diversity, and nice to have drivers that can explain things in different terms, both for entertainment and to learn something new every single time that you're watching. I enjoy having Jeff Gordon up there as an analyst, but I think being able to bring up a different set of eyes each time is even more exciting. And for the Xfinity races, we had Clint Boyer and Brad Keselowski. Those are two very different personalities. So with it, it brought some entertainment and energy and excitement, but it was very informative and very entertaining nonetheless. So I really enjoyed that aspect. I don't know if you guys care about it, but since I am geared more towards journalism, I pay more attention to those kinds of things, and my notebook was like this thick by the end of the weekend. I'm not needing any of these note cards. It's amazing. Congratulations to Noah Gregson of Las Vegas, Nevada, where I currently live. I have been residing here for 7 years, and I know that Vegas is very new as far as a presence in most spectator sports. We're just about to get the Raiders in for the upcoming 2020 NFL season. And when we got our hockey team, there was a very, very large presence of new hockey fans. So, but with all these younger faces coming into the sport and making headlines, I hope that Vegas can kind of hop on board and follow this young talent. He did get the checkered flag, so congratulations for that. His victory celebration speaks for itself. If I try to describe it to you, I'm not going to do it any justice. So here's a look back at his victory celebration after his Xfinity win at Daytona. See, he literally set the track on fire. Who does that? And he said he got the idea from video games. So at the end of each win in the video games, he would have like a 10-minute burnout. And he just thought that it would be cool if he could do that on the track in real life if he ever won. NASCAR Heat 5, let's hope so. All right, Riley Herbst, we're waiting on you too, kid, okay? I'm not talking about trucks anymore. All right, I think we needed that, right? Daytona 500 started on Sunday. I did not attend any of these races personally. I stayed at home watching, taking notes on Hulu, which gave me the ability to scroll back and see some of the footage that I missed. I attended a watch party here at the South Point Hotel, which is Brendan Gaughan's property, his casino. It has a huge NASCAR following because of that, and so that is the place to be if you do want to be around other NASCAR fans and enjoy the race on a big screen. I mean, when I was watching the 20 laps that we got out of Sunday, it was almost as if the cars were coming right towards your face because of the sound system that they have there and all the different TV setups that they have and the energy that was in the crowd. There weren't very many people that looked like me there. I think I was probably the only person that got their ID checked walking through the door. But you know what? Hopefully over time, we'll see that change. Sunday was a day of huge delays. The President of the United States made an appearance. He is the first president to give the race command, and the Beast, his vehicle, led the pace car. Haley Deegan got his autograph. I know he was out meeting drivers. One thing that did kind of make me a little sad, I missed Darrell Waltrip's Boogity Boogity Boogity. Mike Joy respectfully offered viewers to insert their own as the green flag got waved by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Of course, we did have a couple of rain delays that occurred on Sunday. I spent a lot of time waiting for the racing to get started again, only for it to start pouring down rain and ending the day for me at the watch party and for the racers on the track and the fans that were there to watch. However, we did get started all over again on Monday, which kind of changed the whole setup of my broadcast here, but it was still a very, very enjoyable race. This was Jimmie Johnson's final start at the Daytona 500 for a full season of racing. He is doing his retirement tour, and immediately during that Ally Racing commercial, the Daytona 500 turned into the Daytona Cry 100 for me. I was in tears. Every time I see that commercial now, like, I'm choking. I don't know if it's the kids or the fact that I have this like emotional attachment to his career because my uncle followed him for all of his victories. I've even met him, and for the short period of time that I got to shake his hand and tell him about my uncle, it was the best moment of my life. I saw him putting up a good race. He remained in the top 10 for a good portion of it. He was one of the unlucky ones, but it gave me a lot of hope for the season to come. It seemed like with some of the changes that were made last season, it seems like we might see something a little bit better than what we saw last season from him. He's not chasing the 8th victory, and I think sometimes when you're not chasing something, that's when it comes to you. So the best of luck to Jimmie Johnson for this season. Who knows, we just might get an 8th championship on this farewell tour for him. And we did see some aggressive racing on the track. Ricky Stenhouse is always known to be aggressive. He was aggressive early on, which gave William Byron of the 24 Chevy Camaro an early finish in the Daytona 500. So these things happen throughout the races. It's just so heartbreaking to see when it happens so early on. Hendrick Motorsports number 48 of Jimmie Johnson, their team got a penalty for having too many men over the wall, and Chase Elliott got a penalty for the gas can leaving the pit with equipment. The gas can was still stuck in the car. That fell behind, and unfortunately Martin Truex Jr. ended up running into it. Luckily it didn't cause any damage to his car. I am sure it cost him a lot of time. So it's weird how one little second can cost you so much time. So those pit stops have to be perfect. That was a low, now going to the highs. Ross Chastain had a really good run, and so did Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell moved over to Levine Family Racing. That is the ride that Matt DiBenedetto had last year. Now, they have a partnership or an alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, so that allows a lot of technical information to be shared. And I think, yes, Christopher Bell is a wonderful driver, but to see how Matt DiBenedetto did it super speedways and at Bristol last year in their car, it's really about that car setup. So even though Christopher Bell is a great driver, when you mix the great driver and the mechanics and engineering of a well-built car, you end up getting great results. So it's no surprise that you see Christopher Bell up in the front for a lot of the race as well, and keeping up with the rest of the Toyotas. Those are some of the highs. Now we reach one of the greatest lows of this race. Now in the final laps, if you have not tuned into any of the broadcasting channels like ESPN and seen anything on SportsCenter, Ryan Newman had an awful crash that involved both Ryan Blaney and Corey LaJoie. He was so close to the front, and then to see something so devastating happen, I feel for them too. They are all involved in this. And when I caught this footage, it was the first time I had seen a wreck this bad in real time in NASCAR. I thought I had just seen a fatality. People that I know that were at the track, they were in tears, they were in shock. I think it was a very somber attitude as they had tarps up, and nobody was really allowed to have access and see what was going on with Ryan Newman while they were extracting him from his vehicle. It did take about 10 minutes for emergency services to flip the car back over and get him out of there and get him to the hospital. It took about a couple of hours for anybody to release a statement on his condition, and the first word from Roush Fenway was that he was suffering serious injuries, but his injuries were not considered to be life-threatening. So that was good news, and overnight it was still a little difficult to kind of process, because anytime you do go to a hospital or anybody is sent to the hospital, you can actually slip from serious and not fatal to critical at any given moment. All it takes is a little bit of time and maybe the wrong movement or attention to a different injury, and it could go either way. That night it was difficult for a lot of us fans to get to sleep. Everybody had Ryan Newman in our thoughts. I continue to keep him and his family in my thoughts, and his daughters. As a daughter myself, it would be so hard for me to see my dad in such a vulnerable position, and they're so young. So my heart goes out to them and everybody involved in that incident. But this morning, this is the high that pretty much brings everything together. Ryan Newman, in less than 48 hours, is walking away from this. I'm sure he is, he's not in the best condition leaving the hospital, but to see somebody walk away from something that I thought could have possibly ended his life, it speaks volumes to not only the Halifax Medical Center or emergency crews or emergency services at the track, but it speaks highly of the engineering, technology, and mechanics with NASCAR's racing and development. And it says a lot about the mechanics and engineering that are the brain power at Roush Fenway. So a big thank you to all of those people involved. And Ryan, we are so happy that you walked away from this. You are strong. You are one strong man. So we are really happy to see that he is going to make a recovery from this. And I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him back on the track within the season. Now, with that being happy news, I want to celebrate Denny Hamlin's victory. For him to win the Daytona 500 is a wonderful achievement. But he also did the same thing last season. So to have a back-to-back consecutive win at the Daytona 500 is a really big deal. And it puts him in the same category with some of the most amazing and notable drivers in history. I was told at Phoenix that I would look better in this hat. You guys tell me. Congratulations, Denny Hamlin and the Joe Gibbs FedEx Racing team of the 11 car. Congratulations on your victory, and I look forward to seeing everybody back on the track at the Pennzoil 400, which I will be attending. For you guys that are watching, I will see you next week on Superfan. I would also like to thank a few people that have helped me along in getting this first video out there and started. Of course, my family, the people and friends that are supporting me and giving me the time alone to do this. I'm sorry I can't always hang out with you. I'd like to thank all of the people that have mentored me along to get me to this point. Even though I know I don't have to make this promise to you, I want you to see that I'm working very, very hard at this. So everything I'm doing, I know that I was probably the first one to reach out to you guys. And my gift to you is that I will continue doing this because I look at you guys and you guys are inspiring me. You guys always give me encouragement, and you guys always seem to know the right thing to say at the right time. So a big shout out to you guys. And thank you to my job for supporting me and giving me the time off that I need to cover these things and to give me the money. I also want to give a shout out and a big thank you to all the journalists that lead by example out there and worked with dignity and respect. I know fans are always wondering what's going on, but I think NASCAR and its broadcast networks do a good job of delivering news and honest news to the fans of NASCAR and keeping people updated, because they obviously know that NASCAR would not be where it is today without its support, and the fans really do care about these people. I mean, when I watched, I was choked up about it. So for all the people that were there at the track that got photos and footage, thank you for not sharing those with us right away and not sharing anything until we got word of his condition and, keeping the privacy of these drivers intact. Thank you so much for that. I don't think you guys get that enough. And thank you for setting that example for me. We're finished. I can't even believe I finally made it with very few mistakes. I think cue cards are the way. They will keep you organized. You can take breaks, look down, and say short little things. I love it. Yeah, we freaking did it. NASCAR heads to Vegas this weekend at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I already have my passes thanks to people that know I love this sport and are seemingly always in a hurry to make sure that I have passes. This time I'll be able to walk around with my phone, and the next video that I put up, I'll be able to share the footage that I get to see or that I have at the tracks, and hopefully we'll get to meet some drivers. I also have a couple of interviews lined up so that you guys can see a different part of NASCAR that you don't always get to see on TV. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.